Welcome back to the news at 10. The cross-examination of the chief prosecution witness, Mr. Michael Wetkas, in the trial of the Senate President has ended. The chairman of the tribunal, Mr. Danladi Umar, has adjourned the case to January the 11th, 2017, after the counsel to the Senate President, Mr. Paul Usoro, informed the tribunal that he had come to the end of his cross-examination. When asked if they wanted to cross-examine Mr. Wetkas, the prosecution asked for an adjournment to enable it prepare for a re-examination. To aviation now, and as part of efforts to test the country's readiness in the event of an unlikely terrorist attack, special forces from the Nigerian Air Force have carried out a simulation exercise codenamed Thunderbolt at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. The exercise involved a mock group of terrorists taking passengers hostage at the airport and shooting sporadically, while special forces maneuvered their way into the terminal to rescue the hostages. Speaking shortly after the simulation exercise, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, said the exercise is a necessity in the light of international threats to aviation safety. Our aviation correspondent Bukola Jo Oketumbi reports.
Large numbers of people pass through airports every day, thereby making such terminals potential targets for terror attacks. In the face of new terror threats, the Murtala Mohammed Airport in Lagos is transformed into a theater of action as a simulated terror attack plays out, with helicopters hovering and the area swooned with men of the Air Force. Within the terminal, a group of supposed terrorists have taken a number of passengers hostage, with all lying on the floor. Sporadic gunshots are fired to create fear. Many are visibly shaken. But then, a special squad of the Air Force comes to the rescue. First, an informant for the terrorists is taken down, and others follow, with most shot dead. The exercise comes to a close with the hostages freed. The simulation over, the chief of the air staff assesses the situation.
The essence of this exercise is for us to really evaluate and understand how effective are they going to be in case we have this kind of challenges. And it's not an exercise that is just conducted by the Air Force alone. And
top officials from the Airport Authority and the Lagos State government believe interagency cooperation must be tested.
It also, challenges all the security agencies at the airport and other agencies that are government agencies that are airport, including the airlines, on what they are supposed to do in case an event like this occurs at the airport.
The state is ever ready to partner. That's why we have the LASEMA at any given time, anywhere. LASEMA, anytime, because if it happens in Lagos, whether we like it or not, we must respond. We must get our men on, to respond quickly.
Although airport security serves several purposes, which includes the need to reassure the traveling public that they are safe, this kind of exercise will indeed help to check the level of preparedness while creating room to close noticeable gaps. Bukola Jo Oketumbi, Channels Television News.
Now, we're still keeping our eye on the voters' verdict over there in the U.S., and you've heard from our team of correspondents spread across the states in the U.S., but it's also election night at the U.S. Embassy right here in Nigeria. Our team is on the ground there as well in the Victoria Island area of Lagos. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent Amarachi Ubani joins me now, if we can see her. Okay, so Amara, talk us through exactly what you're observing from where you are. There you are. Tell us what you're going to be observing all night through the process over there.
Ijoma, it's a beehive of activities that will be happening right in the hall. I don't know if you can get a peek into what's happening in the halls right now. This is in preparation for what will begin at 12 midnight when we begin coverage of election results as they trickle in, from the different counties and from the different states. We already know some of the results already from the electoral votes. But tonight, there's a lot lined up for this evening. We'll have a speech by the Consul General, Mr. John Bray, who will be giving his opening remarks at the start of this whole program. And then there will be different parts of the hall that have been designated for different activities. There's a learning center, there's a movie corner, there's a tech center, karaoke corner, photo op, information resource, mock polling place, because there will be a mock election tonight and a winner will be declared in addition to the complete results of the USA elections, as that they will be announced, of course, in the United States. And then there will also be live online discussions going on, and then we'll be having our own coverage. The studios here will be live, as well as the studios there in the headquarters will also be live with the coverage of the elections. We have different programs lined up for this particular program this evening. But what the U.S. Embassy has organized is an array of programs to help people understand the American electoral system, and then to understand why the election is so important, why the election of the President of the United States is really, really important. So a beehive of activities tonight, getting ready for countdown to who becomes President of the United States tonight.
All right, Amara, you talked about a mock poll, like a mock election. For those who are not actually familiar with that process, talk us through what that's about. I mean, it's not the first time we've had that there, and the significance of having something like that on a night like this.
I'm not sure I could hear you very clearly, but if I heard you, I heard a bit of what you were saying, something about a mock polling place.
That's
yes.
Right.
People who want to participate in a mock election will be given the opportunity to express their own political opinion tonight for either of the candidates, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. So they will be casting their votes, of course, which mean nothing, but it's just an expression of opinion. So people who cannot vote in the United States will be given the opportunity to participate in a so-called electoral process tonight.
All right, then talk us through, if you can hear me now, the mood in the room. I know over in the US it's quite tense in terms of who's going to win. What's the mood in the room where you are?
Well, there isn't much going on in the room right now, but out here there are journalists, there are media people, everyone, trying to get, of course, keeping up with what's going on in the U.S. as votes will begin to be counted soon. But a lot of activities as people prepare, for tonight. What's most important, of course, is not the process, the voting process itself, but it is the counting. When the results begin to trickle in, everybody wants to get a piece of what eventually will become the total number of votes tonight. So that's basically what we're all looking out here for. It's quite a noisy environment out here. People just talking and trying to get information, and also trying to have interviews like I'm having with you right now tonight.
All right, thanks a lot, Amara. I know Chamberlain's somewhere there, Chamberlain Uso, and we do expect to hear from both of you as the night progresses on how it's going to turn out and what the voters' verdict will be. Thanks a lot for that, Amarachi. And let's take a look at some business news for the day. Here's Anne Waudu.
You first. First Bank.
Well, yes, indeed, the U.S. presidential elections is definitely affecting the business world too. But let's come back here at home. The need to integrate African market activities has again been brought to the fore, but this time it's through the electronic payment systems. Well, delegates at the First Swift Business Forum West Africa, which held today in Lagos, brainstormed on how to actualize this goal. But in order to realize this objective, experts comprising regulators and operators from the African financial markets believe that structural reforms and policies must be addressed.
We want to use our local currencies to trade and also capture all the informal trade which is taking place cross-border by using by trading in our national currencies and using the payment system platform for large value trade transaction. because we will request that we will try to establish a memorandum of understanding between the central banks so that they will exchange cash transactions as well as large value transactions through the payment system platform.
There is the need for countries to restructure their economy, to reform their economy, so that they can also be involved in activities outside the commodities market. In essence, to diversify their products. Another thing that should be done is to create incentives among the countries.
Nigeria's central bank plans to sell a total of 119.92 billion naira in short-dated treasury bills. That will happen on November the 16th. At the auction next week, a total of 32.43 billion naira will be sold in the 3-month paper, 22.82 billion naira in the 6-month bill, and 64.67 billion naira in the 1-year bill. The financial regulator says settlement for the treasuries will be made on Thursday, November the 17th. The National Assembly is proposing the adoption of a budget calendar. This will begin with the submission of the medium-term expenditure framework by the 2nd week in July, and it will end with the President signing the appropriation bill into law by the 3rd week of December every year. This new measure is contained in a report submitted by the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, by the Senator Ali Ndume-led Technical Committee. The strategies include provision of laws and development plans by the federal government aimed at easy and timely preparation for the budget and its efficient implementation. Nigeria's stock market extended the losing streak into a 5th consecutive session today, posting its biggest loss since September the 2nd this year. And this loss follows declines recorded in almost all the sectors of the market. Millicent Wonka has the details.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The Nigerian stock market continues its decline despite the global stock market's rally since Monday in the countdown to today's U.S. presidential election. Nigeria's largest company by market capitalization, Dangote Cement, falls 4.8%, dragging the all-share index by almost 2% to 26.364.27. However, total turnover increased to 189 million shares valued at 1.6 billion naira in 3,434 deals. Well, market sentiments remain negative, with 26 losers beating 13 gainers. Champion Breweries was Tuesday's heaviest loser, with 9.47% ahead of Forte Oil and UACN. CAP, GlaxoSmithKline and Air Service were the top 3 gainers for the day. But with over 40 million shares, Chams led the top volume drivers for the session, which also include UBA Group and Transcorp. Well, that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Millicent Walker.
Well, thanks a lot, Millicent. As the world eagerly awaits results of the U.S. presidential election, global markets retained today's rally, largely driven by cautious expectations of a win for Hillary Clinton. Let's take a look at the numbers. With those numbers, we end Business News tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Back to you, Gemma.
You first. First Bank.
Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo pays surprise visit to the Super Eagles camp in Abuja as preparations for the 2018 World Cup qualifiers begins. That's on sports. Please stay with us.